Okay, so I've watched the video again of the story and my interpretation, and aside from some external things that distracted me, I think I did a fairly good job, at least better than Monday's recording of about the great frog pranking in Utah County. That one. Um, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the outline of what you had us answer for the midterm, so that I have a pretty good outline of things that I need to probably address, and so I'll go through those in regards to my interpretation and try to address those things. So we'll see how it goes. It might be kind of long, but I'll see what I can clip to make it be a little bit quicker. So let's just take off. Okay, so I noticed before I get too far into this that the streaming of the video was a little bit choppy, and so there were some parts where there was, that the silent pauses, and some of it was like, okay, waiting for the video to catch up with itself, and then it would sign it, like, then Mike would sign really fast, and so then it was like, oh crap, I'm trying to figure out what he said in that small moment. So it might be a good thing for me to go back through and just redo this anyway, just for my own benefit. But yes. Okay, so I know that I missed. Yes, I just said, hi, my name is Mike Brown, but I know that I missed. He was hoping. I don't know what this is, so that got omitted, obviously. This story is the type of story where it's, oh, there's this one time it had this really insane experience, one of those types of stories, and the main idea behind it, with the title, it was good luck, bad luck stories, and it's obviously about his bad luck on the snowboard, but yet he had a good date. I think that's what the main points are. So let's continue. Okay, missed like the best part there. Missed this. Yeah, how can I miss that? That's really important. I missed the context of this. I remember us discussing it in class, so maybe let's go back a little bit, see if I can catch it. I'm still not getting the full context of that. What's going on there? Okay, so obviously we can see that he has hurt his shoulder from his snowboarding experience, and yes, he fell off the snowboard and lost control. That's assumable. But what I'm missing is what triggered the fall to happen. Okay, so this is, I'm guessing this is the sign for snowboarding. So it was like he went off a jump, or went off a little bit of a ledge maybe, and fell and hit his shoulder. I should probably add that it was fairly important that his arm, basically, he couldn't use it. It was kind of, at least he made it seem like it was, my arm's dead now, it's hurting, can't do much with it, but yet he wanted to still go on with the snowboarding trip. It's also pertinent to notice that he said 30 seconds. 30 seconds later, like not even a minute later, he was noticing the swelling and the throbbing of his arm, and I think that's a good word that I could have used, which the word throbbing, not just swelling, or excuse me, not just swollen, but throbbing, because that, better describes this thing. Okay, so at this point, the telephone has begun to ring, and I'm kind of like stuck between, okay, so do I stop recording? Do I keep going? What do I do? That kind of thing. And so as I'm processing what's being said and with what's going on here, then that just kind of made things a little bit more difficult, but I continued for the most part. At this point, I've was just had a quick word with Travis about that, and just decided to continue with what I had. So that last part, it was more like, okay, so I kind of missed the last few moments of that, so I'm going to sum up with what I know from the story, knowing that obviously it was a bad luck situation for him to fall and hurt his shoulder, but then it was, he had good luck because it wasn't worse than that, and because he was on a date and that kind of thing. So I think that about sums up my response to the story. Some of the things I have outlined here. I feel like I'm getting a bit better with summarizing, but sometimes I can't tell if I'm summarizing or if I'm just simply signing what I see, and then the things, some of the details I miss, I miss because I omit them, not intentionally, but because I just miss them. So I know sometimes I'm summarizing, and sometimes I'm just trying to say as much as I can. So I'm not, it's kind of back and forth with that. As far as lexical substitution goes, as I talked about earlier, using a word like throbbing as opposed to, swollen or sore, that might have been better, but the message was still the message in that sense was still conveyed. I think there were a couple of instances of paraphrasing the proposition, like when Mike was saying how his date came over to see if he was okay. I added that, he signed, what that she said, which I then interpreted to be, oh, are you okay? What's wrong? What happened? And that kind of expression and statement I took on to be like something I would say to my date if that was the case. Oh, are you okay? Is everything alright? That kind of thing. So I think there was a little bit of paraphrasing the proposition there, if that is the applicable thing to say. Now, I don't think there was ambiguity in the sign in this, where that part where I was stuck on this, but I felt ambiguity in my interpretation because I couldn't decide what it was referring to, and so I can recognize that there were a few instances where it was ambiguous. I'm not quite sure where I can apply unpacking propositions. That's something that I need to probably look through a little bit more. yeah, not, I don't think very much of that happened. Okay. So, overall, I think that this interpretation is possibly a little bit better than a couple of the previous ones. But I'm just excited to know, if I was even on point with some of the things that I said, or if I was again blatantly wrong. So, thanks for your feedback in advance, and that's all.